Hey y'all. So at the end of the last episode, I was making a lot of promises about what you were going to see in this next video. And, I fully intended on making good on those promises, but things happen and people make mistakes. So I had the video all ready to go and fully edited, and I thought I exported it. So the next day, I deleted the raw video files, and I did that to clear up space on my computer because I thought I'd exported the video, but I had not. I used a bunch of different software to try and get those videos back, but they are gone. They are dead. So they are unavailable to me, and I can't do anything about it, and that sucks. But I do have a plan for how you can find out what happened on the lost episode of The Sims. So let's get to that. So most of the really eventful stuff happened in this episode. Don't worry, that doesn't mean that you missed a lot. Eventful just means that things happened and it wasn't just me building a house basically, although that was a big chunk of it. So the first thing we tried to do was get Kat's mood up because her mood was bad all the time, and we needed to get her mood up so that she could get promoted at work. This ended up not going very well, as on the first night that she went to work, she came back and had gotten a random event where she had done a really bad job at work. I think she made something like 150 simoleons a night, and we got charged 350 simoleons or something for making some really bad predictions. That didn't go very well, and that was kind of how that part started. So that should give you an example of the things to come. The next morning, I forgot that you can learn how to cook through reading in this game, which is a ridiculous thing to forget, but I did. So I was like, well, we have to risk her trying to make food. So I did. Somewhat ironically, after saying I hope she doesn't burn the house down, she did set the oven on fire. A fireman came by and he didn't even say anything. He just kind of walked in and put out the fire and left. And that was funny. I spent a little bit of time trying to become friends with Bella Goth. She was the only sim at this point that we had really met. It was her and Mortimer, and we didn't like Mortimer, so we were going to become friends with Bella Goth. Unfortunately, I think their personalities just kind of clashed because no matter how much they talked, they really couldn't get above a 20 in the relationship scale. And eventually she stopped coming over when I would call her. So we were going to work and doing an okay job, but our social kept going down and I did not know how to deal with that. So eventually I decided that we should adopt a cat. So even though this was supposed to be a playthrough of just vanilla original Sims, I did call the shuttle to take us to Old Town so that we could adopt a cat. It's important to note here that the loading screen to travel to Old Town has really dope music. While we were there, we met a man named Brad who seemed to want to chat us up, but he had this woman following him around trying to kiss him, so we kind of avoided that drama. I'm only mentioning him now because he will come up in a future episode. So I tried to adopt a cat, but we couldn't afford it, and so I had to put in a cheat code. Took me a while to remember the cheat, but I did eventually do it without having to look it up, so that was a victory. So I cheated so we could have enough money to adopt a cat. So we adopted a little Sphinx kitten, and I immediately fell in love with him, and I named him Anubis. Then once we got back, our needs were super, super low, going to die low. And since I had already cheated, I figured I might as well go all out, so I used move objects on and deleted our sim and reset her, so her needs went back up. I also couldn't afford anything for the cat, so I just decided let's give her a little bit more money and spent basically the rest of the episode renovating the house and buying stuff for the cat. Like I said, it was an eventful episode if you compare it to the stuff that happened in the first episode, but once you're explaining to someone what happened in your game of The Sims, you realize that it's just a video game, and it's really all not that interesting to anyone but you, probably. Thanks for being patient with me, y'all. I have to spend some time on the next episode because so much of it built on things that were supposed to be in this video. I think I'm going to try something different and have a soft reboot of the series, even though it's only 2 videos long so far. I appreciate those of you who stuck with me. I promise I'll be backing everything up 3 times from now on.